Welcome to Take 5, a podcast brought to you by Newleaf Training and Development. Each edition is an inspiring interview with a leader worth listening to. Enjoy!
Hi there, I'm Mark Griffiths, one of the client partners at Newleaf Training and Development, and I'm joined by Heather Reilly, who is a hugely experienced leadership and management consultant. Heather, for 18 years now at Newleaf Training and Development, we've focused on our core purpose of helping people and organizations better manage themselves, lead others, and grow business acumen. What are your recommended best practices to help people and organizations be their best? Please start though by telling us a little more about what you do and who you serve. Over to you, Heather, and I'll wrap it up when you're done.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mark. And thank you so much for the invitation to be here. It's truly my pleasure. Yes, as you mentioned, I've been working for more than 20 years in senior leadership roles, a lot of that time with the international company Cirque du Soleil. And most of my time were on shows, either on tour or in a theater, although I spent a few years as a director of human resources at our headquarters in Montreal. I've stepped away from the full-time touring life and have started my own company now, working with leaders and their teams to help them develop and thrive. And I always was working with people who were passionate about what they wanted to do and to succeed. Some of those leaders were new, some recently promoted, some were very seasoned. And in every case, what I want to do is develop in people is understanding that leadership isn't just about directing a team or achieving results. It's all about creating an environment where people can thrive and ideas can thrive. And with that, I find the business success follows. So what I want to just chat about is 3 principles I've used consistently to help me develop myself as an effective leader, but also to help others succeed. And that's understanding culture, shaping it intentionally, and listening deeply to those who you lead. These are often buzzwords, and I know there's a lot of things that are out there right now, but really they're things that I've held on to dearly over my career. So the first 2 I use are about culture. One is about understanding the culture people bring to an organization, and one is about the culture we design in our organizations. And truly my first best practice and a passion I just have fun with is understanding the cultures people bring with to an organization itself. So often we focus on just the organizational culture, but we forget that people are bringing their own experiences, beliefs, biases, and that influences how we communicate, how they respond to authority, and even how they perceive success. It's the same with a business working with a client. Without understanding this, leaders can unintentionally misread behavior and miss opportunities to connect. When we learn about different cultures, it's considered in some places, as an example, disrespectful to challenge authority openly. So if you have a team member or a business client who that is what they're bringing to a conversation, they might be quiet in a meeting not because they lack ideas, but because they're showing respect to you or to me or to someone. And if I interpret this as they're disengaged, I may just brush them off, alienate them, might lose that as an employee, but might also lose a client. What I find and what I try and give to people is that understanding the curiosity of others and empathy towards them and taking the time to learn about backgrounds, cultures, perspectives. I've had the amazing opportunity to work all over the world, and learning how to work in Japan versus America versus Europe, or even where I'm from in Canada, makes a difference in how I succeed and how the people I work with succeed. So having them understand different cultures and how that can influence our daily work is really key. Now, as much as I said that the people focus too much on an organization's culture, it's also super important. But what comes into play is how that culture is designed in the organization, and then it's done intentionally. Every team and department has a culture, whether it's intentional or not. The question that I ask is, am I shaping it, or am I allowing it to form by default? And that's what I also, when I'm working with new leaders, is how are they doing their culture within their team or their company, their organization. So cultures will often arise by default from lack of clarity and direction. It can be reactive and inconsistent and really, really hard to change. Priorities get misaligned, deadlines get misaligned, people get frustrated, and we often hear, I didn't know, or they didn't tell me, or it's not my job. And it's those kind of things where something is missing. In contrast, when we design a culture, it's done with intention and it starts from the beginning. So when I work with somebody who's new and when I was new in something, I start with that. What environment do I want to create? Do we want to create? What are the behaviors, the values that we want to see? Once that clarity is there, the next step falls into putting that into place in leadership and in operations. Organization culture isn't something you can do once and forget about it. It's ongoing, but when it's done thoughtfully with the team, with a business partner, it creates an environment where people understand the expectations. Hopefully, they're feeling empowered, and then we're working towards a shared purpose and a shared outcome. And the last one is really, may seem the simplest, but I think can be the most transformative. And it's really about listening, truly listening to people. Leadership comes with the temptation sometimes to give quick answers in conversations. We work in a relentless world. It's fast paced. We need a decision right now. Let's go, let's go, let's go. And when leaders rush those conversations, they miss the messages behind what's sometimes being said by team members or clients. If you're in a place where somebody is looking confused or asking a question, they may be looking for a clarification, but it might not be that. It may be a lack of confidence. It may be a lack in their ability to adapt or take on that new project. And if I or somebody brushes that off, gives a quick answer, or I feel it's not important, it's missing that opportunity to understand the underlying issue. Truly listening goes beyond that surface. And if I had $1 for every time my team heard me say, what's the question behind the question? I would be a very wealthy person. It's really something that I hold true is tell me more. What's your concern? Why are you asking me this? What is it that's missing in my explanation? And by teaching others to think that way, it just gets to better results. It also helps the person who's asking the question explain with more clarity what it is they're looking for. How I respond or how someone responds is just as important as understanding that question. If I don't know the answer, I'll get it for you. And that we need to teach people to say instead of, again, brushing it off or saying nothing in a situation. It's, again, a little cliche to say, I hear you, I hear what you're saying, but that makes a difference. People feel empowered. When people listen deeply, they build those stronger relationships. They uncover the hidden insights, and they get better as leaders and understanding the business that they may be leading as well. So really, through the 3 ideas of culture building, cultural understandings, hearing people, that's as we work with leaders, as we work with new people in management, when they get this right, they don't just lead, but they transform their organizations and their people. All aspects of business acumen, all aspects of a business can become clearer when they're doing this, and successful people will create successful businesses.
Wow. Heather, incredible. On
Thank
behalf of
you.
everyone who watches these, seriously, Heather, thank you so much for your insights to help people and organizations be their best. Before we sign off, just a reminder to our subscribers to always keep an eye on the events page of our website for the professional development opportunities we offer on a regular basis. Thanks. Goodbye.
I hope you found that interview useful, and if you did, feel free to rate, review, and share this podcast. We'll be back next week with another episode, and we also invite you to check out our other weekly podcast, Going the Extra Mile, which is sure to lift your spirit and encourage you in today's working world. Bye for now.